Hello, everyone,
Blog
and thank you
Talk
for tuning in
Radio.
to Radio.
Wait
This
up.
is Kenya, and I'm joined with my two co-hosts, Sunny and Clint.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how y'all doing out there?
Since October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we will be dedicating our shows this month towards the awareness, prevention, and help of the issue. Domestic violence, by definition, is a violent or aggressive behavior within the home, typically involving the violent abuse of a spouse or partner. So we'll begin the show today with discussing the three most obvious types of abuse, or at least the ones that we see most often: physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. Sonny, if you want to take it away from here.
Okay, so I'm going to touch base on the physical abuse, which is the use of physical force against another person in a way that ends up injuring the person or puts the person at risk of being injured. So, a lot of people know the signs of someone being physically abused because they have a lot of marks on their body. Sometimes they have defensive wounds for being physically attacked by another person or their spouse. So that is one of the most common types of abuse that we know and we can see very, very quickly. So you have to think about things when you're dating someone. If they physically attack you, you have to understand that that's something that's not a sign of love. It's a sign of hurt, and that's not okay in a relationship. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that for right now. Clint, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to throw out a couple of facts out there. Nearly 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men in the United States have suffered severe physical violence by an intimate partner. Now, so it's very prevalent in the community. It's not, and as of recently, it wasn't considered a serious crime until like the late 80s or something like that. Now, they didn't look at domestic violence as a serious crime, so it was a lot of cases that just went by without nobody being penalized. And I think I forget the name of the syndrome right now, but it's like, some women and men, when they're in an abusive relationship, a physical abusive relationship, and they don't know how to get out, sometimes they learn to accept it. Or they fear leaving. So what we want to do on this show is tell them you don't have to fear leaving. There's plenty of help out there. So we if you are a victim or know somebody that is a victim of physical violence, we have some information for you that we can give that we're going to share shortly. A hotline that you can call, website that you can log on to and get more information. There's plenty of women's shelters out there. So, it's a serious issue in the community, in all communities.
I agree. I think that even as we speak about physical abuse and understanding what it is also any intentional or unwanted contact with you or somebody else. And although we talk about physical abuse and how there are often the bruises and things that you can see on someone, which would be the obvious way to know that they were being physically abused. A lot of times abusive behavior doesn't cause pain or it doesn't even leave doesn't leave any bruises, but it's still unhealthy. And what I mean by that is it can be anything physical. And if you're speaking to someone and they grab your face to look over to them, or if you're trying to walk away and they grab your arm, or they're pushing you, they're pulling your hair, anything of that nature, it is still physical abuse when it involves you and your spouse, you and your partner, anyone that you are having, any altercation with where things get physical. The next type of abuse that we're going to talk about, which will probably happen more than likely before the physical abuse, is the emotional and verbal abuse.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sonny.
No, I was agreeing. That's one of that usually tends to happen before it's actual physical contact. I was disagreeing. That because you get the name calling, they belittle you, they make you feel inferior to them or less than or cause you to have low self-esteem because they're always constantly like you almost feel like you're never good enough in their eyes because everything you do is wrong. And, it starts out like it can start off with them calling you names. It can call, it's like say if you're overweight, they can call you fat and then, kind of tear you down with that, and just it can start with the physical. Once they have you emotionally, they can start that off first and then attack you physically. So a lot of people don't understand that even someone starting off to belittle you in your relationship and making you feel less than or inferior, that's a sign of abuse.
Yes, you hit it right on the nose. You know what I mean? Definitely the signs is when they make derogatory comments towards you. You know what I mean? Insult your ideas, or you know what I mean? Make negative comments about people you love. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times in domestic violence cases, the one who's being violent or abusive, I should say, or try to cut the other one off from their friends and family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So make them totally dependent on them. So, and, some symptoms of verbal abuse, like, because some people they're not quite sure if they're being verbally abused, which happens, is nervous when approaching your mate with certain topics. If you can't if approaching them makes you nervous because you're afraid how they react, that's a sign of verbal abuse. You know what I mean? Because you should be able to hold a civil conversation with your partner about anything.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of some sort of backlash or insult. I mean, so what is some more symptoms?
Well, they can prevent you from making your own decisions. Like they decide your whole life for you. You can't go anywhere without them telling you it's okay. They tell you who, what, when, where, and why, and you just go along with that, And every time, like even how they look at you can make you feel nervous, or they can embarrass you or shame you in public and put you down in front of people to make you, like I said, to go back to making you feel inferior or feel less than because you'll never equal out to what they want you to be. Yeah.
And I think verbal abuse, is the most common. I believe, like physical abuse is the most horrendous. People get more angry at that. But, verbal abuse has just as much as an effect. And to me, it's more prevalent because those scars run deep. You know what I mean? You really trying to tear somebody down. You know what I mean? Their self-esteem, their self-worth. And when you start getting to that level, to the mental stage of it, it's like, it's hard. It's hard for some people to recover from that.
Yes. Hey, guys, we have a caller on the line. We're going to bring them in, see if they have anything to add to our conversation. Also, if anyone else wants to call, the number is 657-383-1155. Hold on, caller. We're going to answer you. Hello?
How y'all doing?
Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I heard him.
You heard him?
Hello? Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you now. What's going on, brother? What you got to say for us?
I think that we just dropped the call. Hopefully you do call back and join in our conversation and share your thoughts. You want to touch base on what we were just talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I get into that, I want to, again, put the telephone number out there for anyone who wants to call in. I did forget that in the beginning of the call, so thank you for that. Forgot about it. If you guys want to call in and chime in regards to what we're talking about, the number again is 657-383-1155. But yes, chiming in on the emotional abuse. As I was listening to you guys talk, I thought about how many things I see even on social networks where a lot of young ladies specifically, I haven't seen young men do this, so I can't speak on that, but I've seen a lot of young ladies who they enjoy some of the things that their boyfriends are doing to them that is clear emotional abuse or verbal abuse, and I don't think they realize what that is, because a lot of times men, and again, I'm just speaking solely on what I've seen, so I don't want this to sound as if I'm only saying that this happens just to women from men. A lot of times there are men who are so cunning with their abuse that they have now manipulated these women into thinking that what I'm doing to you means I love you. So they believe it. And it's not just younger females who find it cute, or they think like, oh, that's bae. Oh, he loved me. You know, he got my phone and he's doing this and he's doing that. And it's like, well, it's a form of control. You know, there are certain things that they don't need to do. You know, where are you going? Who are you with? Why are you over there? You know, you talk to your mom several times a day. I mean, why do you need to keep talking to her? You know, why are you wearing that? Things of that nature. And there's always some form of aggression there. For some reason, there are women who find that attractive, and we'll save that for another show, because that definitely starts in the home. Yeah. It's something that that a lot of us, you know, women, is not me particularly, but just women in general, you grew up with that, and you think that is okay. But yes, there are different kinds of emotional and verbal abuse, and there too, even though the physical abuse usually comes after, they really go hand in hand, because when he's verbally abusing you, he's also emotionally abusing you. It just doesn't click until you're hurt by something he does to you verbally, if that makes sense. So to a lot of females, until he does something that hurts them, it's not emotional. They have to show some kind of emotion to be emotionally abused, if that makes sense, you know.
Yes. Guys, we have the caller again. I'm going to try to put them back on the line. Caller, we thank you for calling back. Hold on 1 second. We're going to try to get you in. Caller, you're on the air.
How's everybody doing tonight?
We're good.
Great.
What's going on, brother?
Just wanted to add, I pretty much agree with everything y'all saying, but I think a lot of times in these situations, like you guys were stating at first, is they seem to ignore the warning signs in the very first. What's the word I'm looking for?
Absolutely.
The word. Exactly. They don't want to see the signs at all. And
yes.
And I think that's a big issue too, is learning the warning sign ahead of time.
He just stopped the call again. But yeah, I agree. He's absolutely right. And crazy enough, I have a list of warning signs that are common, but you know, you get blinded by love and you kind of get trapped in. But these are some of the warning signs that you can tell that your mate is controlling. They go from jealousy to controlling behavior, which try to tell you how to run your life. The quick and intense romance, unrealistic expectations, and you can tell. And like we kind of touched base on this with our last topic with learning their history and how they were in a previous relationship, because that could tell how they are if they were with someone else. How they can tell how they are going to be with you. And the key thing is isolation, because like Kenya said, if you're close to your family and your friends, and all of a sudden it's a problem every time you go to hang out with family and friends, they're basically isolating you from everyone you know, and they basically want you all to themselves. That way they can dictate who you see and things of that nature. They also place blame and say that you're making them angry. This is why they're acting that way. They do the Jekyll and Hyde personality. 1 minute they're fine, next minute they go from 0 to 10. That's one of them. And then disrespect, and basically they're belittling you. They're disregarding your opinions, your thoughts, and they always seem like they're attacking you. Everything you do is just wrong, and they get angry and disagree with everything you do. So those are some of the top types of signs you can look for to know that this relationship might be an abusive relationship, and that is like a clear warning sign to kind of leave that situation, because it's not going to get better. It's probably going to get worse.
I'm reading on this website called helpguide.org. They put an article about domestic violence and abuse, and it stated that abusers usually pick and choose whom to abuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't insult and threaten or assault everyone in their life who gives them grief. They usually save their abuse for the people closest to them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, they carefully choose when and where to abuse. They control themselves while nobody is around. But as soon as they get the opportunity and it gets you, like you said, in isolation, that's when they attack, either verbally or physically. You know what I mean?
And I'm pretty sure we all have that one friend or that family member that has went through it. We all saw it. We try to tell them, and they don't see it how we see it. And then they go back and tell their spouse, oh, so and so says you treat me like this, and all of a sudden you don't see so and so anymore because now their mate knows that you don't like them or you have an issue with them or you feel like they're a certain way, and then they, like I said, they isolate you, and then you don't have that person in your ear telling you that this relationship is not a okay relationship, you know?
Right. That's right.
So it's like Kenya said, we definitely got to touch that again because as she said on social media, you see it. They're so used to that. You get though, you see it, and you just like, you know it. I mean, like I said, I grew up in a household where it was common that like it was happening, and you get the some people that see that and think it's okay, and they continue on when they grow up. Or you see the ones that can see the signs and know that, you know what, when they go to date, they don't want that type of relationship, and that it kind of, it affects you to be mindful to watch out for situations like that.
And so it's in bringing that up, Sonny. I'm glad you mentioned that. Would you go into a little bit more in depth into how that affects a child in the home when they have to see that, and how that affected you? Well, your parents go through that.
Well, I know for me, I was in grade school, and I watched my mother get abused by my stepfather, and like he was a great guy, but then I just remember a switch happening in the household, and it going completely different. And I remember I went into protection mode. I wanted to protect my mom, and I vividly remember one day leaving school one day, coming home. And I remember one of my mom's friends told me that my mom was in a sling. And I was like, like as a kid, you like what? And when you go home and see your mother like hurt, I went into protection mode. I always wanted to protect my mom. That's how I was. Like I was like the protector because my brother wasn't in the house. It was just us girls. And so I took the role as the protector. So when I walked through the door and I saw my mom on this thing, like I flipped, and I was a kid. Like I was in grade school, and I remember they had went shopping, and it was like, canned goods, the canned greens and everything. They were sitting out because they apparently they went shopping, but they never put anything away. So I'm guessing whatever happened before they got to put stuff away. And I remember just walking in the house and seeing him sit on the couch looking with this smug look, and I got like pissed off, and I just started throwing cans at him because my mom was hurt. I wanted you to hurt, and I didn't. And that bothered me. And then growing up, I don't. It goes back to the conversation we had last week with the men versus women situation with the issues, because he was and once my mom got sick, he was the breadwinner. So it was, now I have control of the house. I take care of everybody. So now I'm going to do this. So now when I look at my relationship, I think to myself, I don't want any man to take care of me because I don't want him to think in his head that he's going to be able to do that to me, Mm-hmm. And I watch friends and family members go through it, and it's just it bothers you, especially as a kid. You get that instilled in your brain, and if you're not aware to know that it's wrong, old enough to know that it's wrong, you can grow up thinking that's okay. That's normal. Oh, dad hit mom. Oh, that's normal. It always happens. It's not normal, and it's not right. And I knew that in grade school. So watching that happen, I swore to myself I would never let a man take care of me because I would never give him the power to try to abuse me, because that's what I saw it. That's how I saw it. If a man took care of you and you didn't make money and he was the sole provider, he was able to abuse you, and it was okay. And therefore, for me, I would never let anyone take care of me. I will always have a job. I will always make sure I have money, so I won't be solely dependent on you for you to allow you to put me in that situation where I got to be okay because you help take care of the household.
Mhm.
Mhm. Well, thanks for sharing that, Sonny.
Not
Well, for me, I could come at it. I come at it a couple angles. As far as I can go as far as my grandfather. He was murdered. You feel me? By a female, a woman he was dealing with. He didn't want to deal with her no more, and he wanted to get back with my grandmother, start and be a family man again. So she didn't take that very well. She shot him 5 times, murdered him. You feel me? So that's a form of domestic violence too. You know what I mean? Somebody who doesn't want to let go. And with the attitude, if I can't have you, then nobody else can.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that affected me in more ways than I can really explain because it affected how I was raised by my mother. That was my mother's father. You feel me?
Yeah.
So my mother was a teenage mother. So you know what I mean? So she going through that, have to deal with that pain because of domestic violence. It affected how she raised me. And I also seen domestic violence happen to her. You feel me? I seen my mom get beat before. You know what I mean? I seen my mom with a swollen eye. I remember one time she was engaged in a fight and I was trying to grab onto, you know what I mean, the person's leg. You know what I mean? They kicked me off. You feel me? And because I was little. You know, I was trying to bite him and everything. I did bite his leg. You know what I mean? But there wasn't nothing I can do. And I always promised myself when I get older, like nobody ever's going to lay a hand on my mom again. You feel me? So, and also, when you're around those situations, when there's always arguing, always anger, fighting, it kind of makes you, first you kind of, as a little kid, you know what I mean, you kind of isolate yourself. Because here we go again. You know what I mean? And then it also kind of makes you angry inside.
Yeah, because you can't really help, especially if you're a kid and you don't know that if you don't know how to help, you feel like you can't help your own parent.
And then I remember one occasion, you know, something happened, and I told a family member, they didn't believe me. So it was like, well, damn, I can't even go to the family, don't nobody believe me. You know what I mean? They don't want to listen. So, you know what I mean, you internalize a lot of that.
Yeah.
You feel me? And as a child, I always tell parents, like a child sees more than what you give them credit for.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? I can remember a lot of vivid things from my childhood that I never even spoke upon, that my mom or, God bless the day, my dad probably don't even remember. You wouldn't even remember or think that I would remember, but I remember vividly. You know what I mean? So it does affect the child in a way, and then it affects the child to how they deal with their partner when the child grows older.
Exactly.
I mean? So now I know in my relationship, I really wasn't anybody that know me. Like I ain't really beat for the arguing because in my mind, like I see where that leads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see where that leads, and it gets me real. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just walk away and just leave because you know in your mind, all I envision is what I seen, and I ain't trying to put myself in that position. You feel me? You know what I mean? I refuse to go to jail for putting my hands on a female.
I want to drop this number down for anyone that, if you know someone that is going through a relationship like that or in a domestic violence relationship, they have an 800 number. It's 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. Also, if you need to find a shelter, a safe place for you trying to get out of a domestic violence relationship, you can check out the website domesticshelters.org and type in your zip code, and they'll tell you a shelter that is in your area.
Mm-hmm. And also, let's be clear that, you know, that's why I brought up my grandfather. Like, domestic violence is not gender specific.
No,
that's right.
Nor is it sexuality specific.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you know, you could be homosexual, heterosexual, transgender, whatever you choose, how you live your life, that's on you. But domestic violence goes across the board.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if any of y'all out there experiencing it, know somebody experiencing it, call the number that Sonny gladly just gave to y'all.
And that number again is 1-800-799. Can you?
Before we close out the show, I just want to, and I apologize to anyone if we're just really kind of digging this, bringing this home to you guys a bit much. But again, like I said, these shows are going to be dedicated to domestic violence because it's something that we see each and every day in our communities, in our personal lives. Some of us, in our professional lives, we see that. And I just want to emphasize that relationships can be unhealthy or abusive even without any of the physical violence that we discussed here on this call, which is why we decided to also talk about emotional and verbal abuse. And the verbal abuse, as we said earlier, can lead to physical damage, but it does cause emotional pain and scarring. So, like I said, if there's anyone that you know who's dealing with that, if you're dealing with that, make sure that you can at least get in contact with someone that you trust. Your parents, your friends, your teachers, your priests, pastors, anyone that you feel comfortable with, that you can talk to about what's going on. You can't keep that to yourself. As long as you're with someone who knows that they can control that, especially really quickly, situations where I had a situation where a friend of mine was being abused, and because I was the friend who would pull her away, he, as one of you guys mentioned earlier, made sure that she was not hanging around me as much. And then eventually she stopped hanging around me, and about a year later he ended up killing her. And so it is something that you have to be able to tell somebody who is going to help protect you, who is going to, and you have to be very discreet about it, because people who are abusers are also really nifty with figuring out what you're doing because they don't want to get caught. So just make sure that it's someone that you trust and just get that out. Talk to somebody. Don't keep it to yourself.
Yes, that's definitely like a lot of a lot of things they try to use against you. Especially if you have kids, they'll threaten the kids and everything. But the prime example, especially if you have kids, take them out of that situation. Take them out of it, because that's something that they see. Like Clint said, kids see a lot, no matter how young they are. They see it, and they're well aware of what's going on. And you don't want them to think that is a normal behavior, that is okay, that is totally not love. And if anything, if not for yourself, for your kids, you need to take yourself out of that situation.
Absolutely.
And it's not, you're not alone. It happens to it can happen to anyone.
Okay, and before we close out, we just want to thank everybody once again for tuning in to GFT Radio. We will be back on the air with you guys Thursday, October 22nd. Again, that date is Thursday, October 22nd, where we will continue the conversation of domestic violence, and you guys will be able to call in. Again, thank you for calling in tonight, and we'll see you guys later.
Good night.
Good night, people. Keep your hands to yourself. Like the old saying go, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Peace.
All right.